Welcome to Color Me Happy. My name is Brandy Hofer. I'm your host. Thank you so much for being here, friend. I sure do appreciate your time. This has been such a beautiful journey of podcasting. I get to make so many friends and have the loveliest chats. It's just been more beautiful and more powerful and more meaningful than I ever imagined, truly. So I'm really excited because we did a panel discussion live, like a real one with people last week, and I can't wait for that to release and come out and for everyone to see it and how beautiful it is to support and connect women in your community. And as we all know, that is more important now more than ever. We actually have a collection we put together with BHA Gallery, our gallery, highlighting that fact and with some really powerful portraiture and a really lovely poem that accompanies the whole collection. And it's just, I wrote it a while ago, actually, to be honest, and it just resonates deeply now. I'm going to read it to you. Mine, one of the first concepts we grasp in life. Mine. Yet somehow what is mine, as a girl and now as a woman, had and has been judged, molded, lusted after, shaved, plucked, pushed, shamed, mine, stolen, conglomerated, assiety obsessed. Let them be shamed forever into silence. A door swings open, light crawls across the floor. She walks through resilient, unscathed of the injustices that waited on her foremothers. Thank you for listening. So we have some artwork that accompanies that poetry that I wrote, and check it out. That's at brandyhofer.ca in our BHA gallery. We also have going on, and it's been super fun, and we love seeing everyone's creations. We're doing a summer sketchbook project, so be sure to join the Color Me Happy community on Facebook, and that will lead you to like the blog where we have it all together, or you can it'll alert you on Facebook to when we post a new sketchbook prompt. And to be honest, I'm pretty fucking terrible at some of the things we do in the sketchbooks. Like really bad. I haven't done one since art school, so like 16, 17 years ago. And I decided, heck, let's try it. And let's try it with the boys and try it. So we have some really cool artists, like professional artists who have joined along, which is really also cool to see. And of course, humbling for all. Because, it's all about experimentation and pushing your bounds and trying new things outside of, like, I could make a million portraits that are really well done, but I'm going to make some to make myself feel better in my sketchbook so I can share them. But I'm also going to share my mistakes because I think that's important. That's real life. That's authentic, and that's who we are, and we're human and we make those mistakes. We also have our skincare tip, and it leads right beautifully into this podcast with my awesome guest. So this self-care tip is from Vanessa from Nouveau Laser and Aesthetic Center. I love it there. They're so kind to me and so good to me. And this is her tip, and I love it. Self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. 1,000%. And this leads me into my conversation with fellow artist Sarah Detweiler. She is amazingly talented. Her hidden figures, and she does way more than that, and you'll see because she has a new show in Philly at Paradigm Gallery. Paradigm. If you go to SD Artifacts, that's Sarah's like Instagram, she like does these pieces that are just really, they take such a long time. She has so much patience. She has like embroidery and like everything's really well thought out. Like her next show, I believe, and I know this because I have joined her art making group now and again, and she's freaking hilarious. But most of those women are from the US. And so I just pop in to throw a wrench in their party, I guess. I think there's some other Canadians too, but they're so kind and so good to me, these women, and they were kind enough to let me paint with them a few nights, which actually, by the way, always reach out and find community and don't be afraid to be like, hey, can I come play? And they prompted a whole collection out of me. So find your friends, find that lid for your pot, and find your community, because amazing things happen when you chat and leave time for support. And I did one painting one night while we were all sitting there over Zoom, and I was like, what do you guys think of this painting? They're like, you did that right now? And I was like, yeah, I did it right now. They're like, oh my gosh, well, you should keep exploring that and see where it goes. And it turned into the Taylor collection, which you all know was up in BHA and through PXP. And da 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 da, really big news. Like actual really exciting big news. I hate sharing, because like until you're like physically there or doing the thing, you're like, should I, just in case some life happens? But I have been invited to New York. Speaking of women from the States and people I get to meet and who I've wanted to meet forever, I get to go to my first art fair in New York. My art's going 110% for sure. I'm going to try to go. I have to apply for like a travel grant, which were all shut down because no one was traveling. Anyway, yeah, I really want to go super badly. So if stars align for me to go to New York to my first art fair and meet all my female women, amazing art friends that I've been talking to forever and really need to meet. But this is all about Sarah and our conversation and self-care. Why it leads into self-care is we talk a lot about, because when we recorded this, Sarah had, I think her baby was like 8 months old. So like getting up in the night, and we chat like, two moms do about lack of sleep. Okay, I'll let you get into it and enjoy.
She's like, I just assumed you were in the States with all of us. I was like, no.
I know you're not in the States. You know how I know you're not in the States? Because you have the best accent that my dear friend Amy Stewart has.
Oh, yeah.
And I love it.
I obviously don't hear it because it's everyone talks-ish.
Yeah.
Well, Canada has some crazy diverse language things happening, mid and eastern. I have one version.
Where are you actually in Canada? Are you mid? Are you?
I'm actually in the prairies, so closer to the west, but kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Like right in the prairies, nothingness, barren farmland. That's a bad way to describe it, but it's really beautiful. I like to think that it's like the countryside in France. That's the positive way I describe it. It was comparable.
Hey, it sounds lovely.
It was great. Okay, welcome, Sarah. I'm going to start because we're going to visit regardless of if we're like starting the podcast or not. Welcome, artist and mother. I would say is the best way to describe you, and how I know you, obviously. And we discovered one another. I don't know if it was you or me who reached out first, like a year or two ago, through a mutual friend, Bushra. But yeah, we were talking about our groups and how amazing they are and how important it is to connect with, people who, are experiencing kind of the same things as you.
Yep.
Because you have a new baby, Sam.
I do, yes. He's not that new anymore, but he'll be 6 months soon.
Yeah, that's new.
I mean, yes.
So new.
It's like, it depends on, where on the spectrum you're.
Yeah, like even thinking about him, and Teddy's 2 now, and he's definitely my last. And just like even 5 months, I'm just like, I never want to do that again. Like, it is so beautiful, but it's just like it's so much.
It is a lot. Actually, funny enough, today I have to say he's actually been a dream baby. I really lucked out, and today was that probably the hardest day I've had with him.
Oh, great.
And I was like,
You
wow,
made
this
it.
is really great. I was like, it's kind of perfect because Brandy will understand. And it's Friday. We're talking on a Friday. So it's like an, F up Friday kind of.
Yeah. Friday night F up. We can cut your day apart and make it funny, and you can laugh later. You can cry first and laugh later.
Yeah.
Even this week, I put a really big a reel because it was the time changed, and that's rough on anyone with kids, let alone 3 boys who normally fuck shit up. And then I couldn't even post what was going on at the time because I was still so upset. I was just like, this is too fresh. I know it'll be funny later, but right now I just feel like the worst. I'm just recovering, and that happened on Monday. But I feel better now. So tell me about your day. What was so rough about?
I mean, I feel like if I say it, people will be like, "Oh, come on, give me a break."
I won't.
But it's in comparison to how it's been. No, it's just I think it's because he just started. You know how you're always trying to figure out, is it this? Is it this? I always say, like, having a child, especially a young child, like a new baby, is like doing a science experiment every day where, like, the parameters change every day.
Yeah.
So you can't ever get, like,
there's nothing to figure out. Like, it's like there are tips and tricks, like getting to sleep on time, and obviously that varies from person to person, but definitely for everyone that is like the number one goal, and staying in that really special routine helps. It helps a lot, but it's not always a solution. Like, I remember my sister-in-law, and Teddy's been a dream baby too, but I have 3 boys, and it is just like uncontrolled chaos all the time. And they've been gone for the first time, like, ever, the last 2 days. And that's only why I feel better, because they've not been here for the first time. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, even on the phone, I'm like, I don't even want to talk to you guys on the phone right now. I'm just having such a good time for the first time in 7 years. And their dad took them to, like, the water park, which was amazing. Oh, nice. So where's it going? Oh yeah, my sister-in-law would always be like, oh, she has one girl, and she'd be like, she got up at this time and I made some notes, and I'm like, doesn't matter, does it? It just happens. Do you sleep all night long? No, nobody sleeps perfectly. Why do you expect your toddler to sleep perfectly?
Yeah.
You just move on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Try again next time. That's it.
Yeah.
You can and I know, because I had Gus was originally a terrible sleeper, like 7 to 20 times a night. He would love nursing. And I would just analyze the heck out of it and try to solve the problem. And it just is kind of a waste of energy. And by the time there's multiples, you're just like, fuck it.
Well, yeah, it's interesting because I'm in the space where my daughter is turning 7 soon. And then, so I have that huge gap where it's almost like having an only child again. But then I am so much more relaxed than I was with her about things. So, like, we still haven't established a routine for naps and stuff. I'm just kind of like, we're figuring it out. It's fine.
I think around 6 months, though, it gets more important.
Yeah.
To establish a routine, because then they can at least have those, like, exact, like, the exact sleep times. Like, it's twice a day, it's 6 at night, and they go to bed, and that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's the one.
There are trying to learn it. I'm like, show me what is your routine? What is your timing here? Because he takes cat naps and it's killing me.
Oh no, yeah, you have to. I got we had a sleep consultant, and my friend also is a sleep consultant, and it's, if you can't figure it out, get a sleep consultant. Is worth every penny. But yeah, there's like there is ages where specifically, like, 9:30 and noon, or 9:30 and 2, or whatever you do, and definitely, like, there's no longer that newborn 9:30 to bed. It's like 6. Bath.
Oh yeah. He's been on that
for possible. Yes. So those routines I feel like are such a lifesaver, especially for like, and you probably can attest to this, like you and your partner too, to like have space, or even your daughter, like you guys can have some space to just chill for fucking second. Like, there's a lot of F-bombs today. It's because we're talking about kids.
Okay.
It's been a long 2 years for me. I have to admit. Yeah, they just have so much energy, and
well, your boys especially seem to have a lot of
yeah, I like complained to a grandma once. She's like, "You are be grateful they're moving around." I was like, "You don't know." Someone plopped their bare butt on my face this morning at 6 a.m. You don't know.
Did I see
He ate his poop yesterday.
Did I
girls? I got so mad. I got so defensive. My husband was like, "Calm down." I was like, "She doesn't know. She had 2 girls as daughters, and then they had girls. She doesn't know. Like, it's just different. I don't care. Like, I met some high energy young women as well, but that could hold a candle. But like for the most part, when the female sex comes over to my home and they sit and in my studio with me for an hour and a half to 2 hours, like doing nice things, I'm just like, it's different. They need
it is for sure
every 7 minutes, like, and they're moving, and then they just anyway, rant done.
No, because I have one of those girls. But my twin sister has 2 boys. They're super active. So she's just like, I'm like, yeah, I don't even have an ice pack, like a kid's ice pack in my house. She's like, what? We use those every day.
I have like the glue stitches, so we don't have to go to Emerge anymore for stitches. I'm like, no, I'll clean that up and stitch it myself.
Yeah. Like, when I told two of my friends that have boys, when I told them that I was having a boy, they're like, oh, get ready. And one was like, get ready to say, if I have to wipe pee off the wall one more time.
But it's so much more than that. But you don't know till you know.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Okay, I want to talk about, so everyone can see, or if you can't see, go to YouTube, and if you're just listening, or check Sarah out on her Instagram at SD_artifacts. Her lovely artwork is behind her head. And I want to talk about, and I'm sure you've talked about it a ton, so we won't like totally go into it, but the original, because that is kind of your signature, I would say, like the hidden figure.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk about like the very beginning, like what sparked, I kind of know, but what sparked that whole concept and how much it's expanded.
Yeah. I was already a mom when I discovered the Victorian photos, Hidden Mothers. Have you seen them?
Yes, so only because of you, because of those I've read. But I've seen them before. So describe what that is.
Okay, so long exposure photography back in the Victorian days, and the Victorians always had interesting ways of doing things. Their solution to hold children still for the photos, because I think it was like 30 seconds or something they had to sit. And as you know, as per our conversation we just had, that can be hard to do. The mothers would cover themselves and then sit the kid on their lap, but it was usually with like some upholstery fabric, curtain.
So did you like find that kind of funny to begin, like where you're like, this is so
it was like all the feels. It hit me at this time where I was starting to like build my fine art career since being a mom, and I was having my isolated times and rediscovering myself, my identity, now that I was a mother. And like, who am I now? And am I those people as well still? And it just like, it hit me just like, yeah, like, oh man, that's like really creepy. Like I actually have a Pinterest folder that's titled Creepy Cool, because I love, like, creepy things just appeal to me. And so I was like, well, that's super creepy. Are they trying to be creepy?
Weird. It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah, because they kind of look like, I mean, some of them are a little more discreet than others, but the ones where they're just like, they don't care. They look like a ghost, like sitting there, and I'm like, yeah, that's bizarre. And then I'm like, started thinking, well, why did the mother have to cover herself? Why couldn't the mother be in the photo?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We just want the illusion of the baby sitting by itself, even though it's physically not able to.
Yeah. So I think like a lot of mothers I know identify with that, because it's like, yes, like all the invisible roles of the mom and all the things that we do. And it started just like making me, like, I went down the rabbit hole with it, which I always know whenever I go down the rabbit hole with something, there's going to be an art series about it.
Yeah.
So I did, but I didn't do anything with it for a little bit. And then when I finally did, it was just like, it took some courage for me to approach it. And I'm trying to think back what the fear was. I mean, part of it was the that it was different from what I had been doing. And I don't know.
Yeah, right? Like that's what they say to be successful. They're like, how to be a successful artist. Number one, paint the same thing over and over and over and over again. You're like, oh, I'm just killing my soul. And it is. And it's okay to shift. And, like I'm into portraiture, known for that. And then, came up with the full on abstract collection. Whatever. You're allowed to do what you want. It's your life. But it is a scary thought. You're like, are people going to accept this? What are they going to, but it really actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's not like a make or break sort of thing. You just follow that path, and it can lead to places, that you obviously you don't expect, or you don't know why you're doing it exactly. But I feel like to not explore that is just a great, what is the word? It's just like, you should.
I know what you mean.
Like I did a really beautiful course about creating with kids. And I was like, I bet this isn't going to sell very well. Just because I hadn't done courses, people don't expect to learn from me. They don't. And I was like, but it's really beautiful. And I had an amazing time making it. And I feel so strongly about what I say and what I, and whether people buy it or not, like, it's just like, that's out of your control. And I obviously feel like that is such an important connection that we kind of accidentally stumbled upon, that I would love to share with others. And so I launched it. I knew it would take like so much time to like launch it and advertise and all the stuff that went along with it. And it was so much effort. And I was like, it sold okay, which I knew was going to happen. But then something else happened, was the Milan Institute approached me. I'm not sure how much I actually am allowed to talk about this. Maybe by the time this comes out, it'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
We're just like, we love it. We love your course content. We love everything you're doing. We love your message. And so then they asked me some other stuff, and I said yes. That's what I'm going to say. I just can't say. So like, that's a great example of, okay, I did something. I knew maybe it wasn't, but something way bigger and more exciting that I can't say anything about, but I really want to talk about. You have to honor, that's the word I was like, honor those, kind of little pushes that you're getting from your subconscious almost.
Yeah. I was just talking about this last night with people. Did you read Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic?
Yeah, of course.
So like, yeah, I mean, and anybody who's listening, if you haven't, you must go out and read it. I just love how she talks about inspiration and ideas, and that how like they want to live, and if it comes to you and you don't give it life, it's going to go attach itself to somebody else. So if it would break your heart, to have somebody else bring that idea to life, then you better do it.
Yeah, that's why I'm writing a book, because that happened to me. I did this whole big conference, like 500 women, but I was pregnant with my second child, third. Oh,
you have a lot of kids when you can't remember it's pregnancy.
I don't know. I was pregnant. So I wasn't really in the greatest, like, in juggling, motherhood, etc. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, whatever. It's called Don't Overthink It. And lo and behold, 2020, big giant book, really great book. Don't overthink
Really?
it. Yeah. So but I didn't do anything with it. I just gave this really great, inspiring talk, and I did it again with the art queens, and it moved people. But I don't have a book.
Yes, and I was
at
that.
Get her book. Like, I don't have one.
Yes, please. You need to. I mean, I don't know how you do everything that you do, quite frankly.
15 minutes a day. I know they're like, that won't add up to a book. Guess what? It adds up to a book. I'm almost done. I just have to make it sing together, like flow. But I keep adding more and more and more. But I just need to make it flow a bit better. But I have a book. If anyone wants to publish my book, that'd be cool to make it even prettier. But so far, the plan is to self-publish through KDP. So just so because my friend who was just on the podcast, she's in our community, the Color Me Happy community, and I just featured her. Like, she explained she explained the world of publishing a little bit, and she described, she's like, okay, so then I got an agent. That was 3 years ago or 2 years ago. And she's like, and then they have just approved my book, and then they have to find an illustrator that will suit the theme of my book, and then once they decide in about a year what that illustration will look like, they'll start, and then they have to, and I was like, that's like, that's not when, and I'm sure you feel this way as a creative, you're like, if I'm doing something, I got to do it right now. And I'm obsessed with it. I'm like, Tasha, I could illustrate your book and like have it for final edit in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, seriously.
Just come to me. But like, seriously, because we're, as creatives, we're just like, I can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yours really took off like into, and I could see it was hard for you to describe the original feeling because you're coming from it from like a 2020 perspective later, like what it already turned into, but you hadn't expected it yet. Like, it's so intricate, and you've gone so far beyond just like a simple sheet over a form that I just like get entranced looking at them. So what inspired you to like go beyond? Because I know these like stem from like photographs that you stage these, right?
Yes. Yeah. I staged so I've had two collections released within the series. Now the first one was mostly self-portraits. And yeah, I staged all of them. And then the second collection, the more recent one, is when I invited some other other mothers to pose for me. Like, we would have discussions about it, what they would do, but they have to get credit for the reference photo. And then I would build like the whole narrative, but yeah.
It's really cool. And like, one was your daughter, and you like had splattered the sheet with paint or something.
That actually was me. That was me.
That was you. And then,
but she her drawings were the background, but
okay.
But I'm not like you. So I was just talking about you as somebody, and I'm like, I could not relinquish that control
No.
that you are able to do, and it's like a beautiful thing. But I'm like, the extent that I do is like, I'll use my daughter's drawings in my art, but I'm still recreating them.
That's so cool though. But look, as you can see behind me, when kids do some stuff, it's not always nice.
I think that's gorgeous.
It can turn into something real special. But I let some neighborhood kids come in, and you know what? I just don't care. So
I mean, it's working for you, so I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not that brave.
No, it took a lot of time to let go of that control. And you know, you don't have to, like, you can have this for them and that for, you know, like there's some things I don't let them touch. I'm trying to think of like what that is.
And how do you I'm curious how you establish that, because I actually, behind this huge painting is the very messy it's my daughter's corner of my studio. I gave her a corner, which
Nice.
I love for her to have. There are times that I regret doing so, because it's like a mess. It's always a mess. But I love that she has a space that she can come in, because my studio is in my home. So like, she'll come in, work on something, like she's like in the moment, makes a mess, and then she can leave, and we don't have to worry about picking up and everything.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but
It is
but
so
then
nice.
but then I at night sometimes, like when I come in here to do my work and stuff, I'm like, oh, I just want to, like, I want it to look a little cleaner. But anyway, what was the point behind?
You asked me how. I kind of
How you determine, because she knows certain things. I'm like, you're allowed to help yourself to markers in that drawer and like this. I'm like, this is off limits, but she still forgets. And she has this habit of coming. I said, nothing on my desk. Don't touch anything on my desk. Because she'll come up and she'll not even realize, and she'll like take my like very expensive paintbrushes, and she'll just be like doing that.
They
and
totally
I'm like,
do.
oh.
They love smashing schminky pastels on the floor for a stage, and it really pissed me off, because they're like, what, $8 or something? I don't know what they are American, but, and they're just pigment. So it'd just be like a pigment bomb on the floor.
Yeah.
And or the Sennelier pastels, when they touch those and just leave them willy-nilly, and I like walk across the floor and step on one, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Because I also don't live by an art supply store that I can be like, okay, I'm out of that, I'll go pick it up. I have to order it online or phone the paint store. Actually, I have to phone the paint store. They ship it to me. Like, so it's like a week before, you know, my favorite yellow that I use in the highlight of all my portraits is missing. And then like one art store was just like, oh, she's ordered these colors, we'll send her a color close to what she asked for. And I'm like, that is not how it works.
Oh no.
All over my store. Yeah, so no, I have my things. Definitely. I try to buy, like, I'm pretty done with, and I'm sure you feel the same, like Crayola markers. Sorry, Crayola. I love your paints for babies, but like they dry out super fast and it pisses me off. And so like a month later you go to use the kids' Jiffies, and so I like get them nice Jiffies and keep them on the desk, and they use them there. And I like to let them use my supplies, but like the stuff that, you know, again, the highlight for all my custom artwork portraits was people like, I'm like, that's an important color.
Yeah.
I have a lock. We recently got some locks for our cabinets. Clearly, if anyone's seen what's going on in my life right now, you would understand why. But like, they'll get up in the morning, and this has nothing to do with my studio practice, but they'll get up and they'll eat like a bag of chocolate chips. And I have chocolate chips so I can make cookies and muffins for their lunches, but they'll eat the whole bag, and then they'll be total butt heads for like an hour and not get dressed because they're like high. and or they've been pouring themselves bowls of maple syrup.
Ooh.
So yeah, we have invested in some locking devices.
Didn't you just have a bottle of maple syrup break the other day?
Yeah, like it's been multiple times with the syrup and the honey, and Teddy poured honey the other day all over the toques, and I was like, okay, and he got one stuck in his hair. I was like, that's what you get. You have a toque stuck in your hair because it's all like, he's like, ow. I'm like, that's your fault. That's your fault. You reap what you sow in this way. I'm all for letting kids, like, you know, as far as food goes, I think it's a good for them to learn like self-control and balance. But like, I can't. The sugar thing really pisses me off. Okay, clearly I've been coming off a week of usually I'm pretty like chill. Normally I'm chill. Yeah, so they'll be back and I'm looking forward to it. We were all so sick.
I can see your face.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay. You have, so Paradigm Gallery, like is your gallery, right? Like they love to host your work.
Yeah, I call them my gallery. I mean, you know, they represent, which is one of the things I love about them. They represent the show, not the artist, you know, so, which is nice because, but yeah.
Well, wait, nothing against galleries, but yeah, like it's hard to afford them taking, like if you're an artist, like them constantly taking 50% of.
Yeah.
Like
and
for me, that's an impossibility. Like, I would be minus so much. But yeah, so they just like, that's wonderful. That's so nice of them.
Yeah, we have a really great relationship. So
I think that's important. It's important to find someone or some people that you connect with, because they'll support and be excited about what you're doing, and vice versa. You'll work hard to, you know, have a great partnership and working relationship with them.
Right. Yeah, because I'm actually like, you know, with I know I have so many friends like you who hustle and do so many amazing things on their own, but I actually learned about myself that I don't like, I had made some prints of my hidden mothers and had them all ready. Like I, you know, retouched them and made sure the colors were right, color corrected. And then I just didn't feel like doing the work of the release, promoting it, shipping them. I was just like, oh. And now I'm actually about to release a couple with Paradigm, and it's great because they do all of that work, and
that's great. Like, and that really, when you can save time and then you don't care that, you know, a percentage goes to the gallery because they are doing the work that, you know, like I had in the past, like I was still doing all the promotion. I was still doing and I'm like, why am I in this relationship? Because I am doing all the stuff that, you know, even though they represent so many other artists, but like, yeah, so it's important, like for creatives, you know, everyone, well, not really anymore. It's really shifted, but you know, you're like, I need to be in a gallery. It'll save everything. It'll be the best. But you have to find the right fit for everyone. And that's more important. I'm with this Innovoy gallery and they just but like I still did a lot of the work. But you know, we worked together and we launch it through my BHA gallery, but he's got a whole bunch of kids too. And I always chat on the phone with him for like an hour and a half, like super sweet, understands. He's like, let's meet up and trade the artwork so we both can leave our homes for a little bit.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll meet you there. I was like, okay. So yeah, I think just waiting for the right connection is so integral to that. And that has a lot to do with just putting yourself out there consistently and doing all the things. Like, does that make sense? Like, okay, you're with a gallery, but also do some other stuff and try this. And if it doesn't work, whatever. It's always like you're constantly testing the waters and seeing what works. And I think that's how I feel about the new people who approach me like about the course thing. Like, I'm like, I don't have, like, they are a learning institute. So they have a big base and they want to do all the work. And all I have to do is, my favorite part is talk about it and do the stuff. So I'm like, actually, this worked out much better. You know, like you said, you did it and you're like, this is not for me. I do not enjoy, like, shipping.
Yeah.
Fuck shipping.
Oh,
Like, fuck shipping.
yeah.
Like, okay.
I had an Etsy shop. Like back, I opened an Etsy shop back when I first had my daughter as like a means to try to, you know, create something, but it was very different than it wasn't necessarily like my fine art. It was, but anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. But I just remember like I had a really, one of the years I had a successful holiday season with print sales, and I offered framing too, so like people could buy it framed. And I'm telling you, like, you think you would be happy about making sales, and I just remember like, oh no, like another one I have to print, you know, and I'm just not. Yeah, I just want to be making the art.
I think I know. I said something the other day to my studio manager. I said, if I could just, like, if people could just pay me to make stuff, I'm cool with that. And then I got 6 jobs in 1 week. I was like, actually, take that back just a little bit. Can we have some balance here? I put that out in the universe, and it was a lot of shirt design, surprisingly, which isn't a service I offer, by the way. But I'm wearing it right now. But I had made a shirt for fun, and it just blew up. And so everyone's like, Brandy makes shirts. We should go to her. Yeah,
I get a lot of that stuff too.
Very funny.
I actually am very happy. I have a blanketed, and I'm just remembering now I have to get back to a friend about that wanted me to do a CD album cover. But I have a like a blanketed answer to everybody with that stuff now, because I have a background in graphic design and advertising, and I had my own t-shirt company for a while, where so I have the like the know-how for doing a lot of things, but that I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, just because I know how to do it doesn't mean I'm gonna take it on.
Yeah.
So I just like, I don't take commissions. I just say no, and it doesn't matter who you are. Like, you could be my best friend, and I'm just like, sorry, right now, I don't do any of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I have to be a little bit better about establishing boundaries. I just get so excited, and but that's just my personality, and I have to learn to know myself a bit better, because I would like to finish my book, and I would like to, but sometimes, you know, as artists or creatives, I think it's a fear-based thing for me.
Yeah.
Because I can go months without having anything go on. And so once you get like a big mural job, you're like, even though it's at a terrible time and last minute or something, you're like, yes, I will. Because like one summer I did 6 murals, and then the next I had none. Like, so it's inconsistent. So I made a vow to get just have some more sustainable and passive income sources, and we'll see how it all works out.
Yeah,
and to announce those.
I think I don't know if you're like me, but I tend to not have good boundaries if I do take something on with setting an appropriate deadline, because I convince myself I can do it, I can make it happen. Then
yes, yeah, I just try to do things as fast as I can. I'm pretty speedy, but sometimes it has blown, definitely. And sometimes when you get that initial feeling of like working with someone, and you're like, I'm getting some like really big red flags in this conversation, but you do it anyways, and then you're like, there were so many red flags, and I did it anyway, and now look, they have caused me some this could have been avoided.
Yeah.
Why did I say yes? That's life. But and you do grow and you learn, and the only way to do that is through experimentation, and so I hope I think by like 2020, mid 2022, I can start being like, just like financial stability wise.
Yeah.
That's my plan. If everyone could just make my book a bestseller, also I'm putting that in my universe right now.
No, you know what? I'm glad that you said that, because what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about paradigm and finding, you know, that kind of relationship, I really feel like I hit the lottery with them, because I actually like had them on my radar when I moved, because I was in New York for years, and then I'm originally from the Philadelphia area, and when I moved back here, and I was like, okay, like let me, you know, see what's going on in the yeah, and I found Paradigm. I was like, that's it, that's my dream gallery, and I seriously just put it in the universe, and it was like around that time I put a lot of things in the universe, like being featured by the Gels curator and things like that. That just like
And
all
you
of a sudden,
did.
and like having a, and then
I'm so
having
proud
like
of you.
and having a solo show and like all these things. And all of a sudden they started happening. I'm like, and people are like, well, what did you do? And I'm like, honestly, I put it in the universe that it like was
And I wanted it.
as a possibility. And I don't like, I think it's just when you do that, it's like you're putting the energy and confidence out there that there's no reason why it can't happen, right? I mean,
you want it, and
you're opening a door. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how
it
it works,
it's strange, but I think it's almost just like telling yourself, you're kind of holding yourself to something. You're like, well, I said it, I wrote it down, and it's gonna happen. And the more you visualize and say it, like if I keep saying I will finish my book, like people are gonna expect a book by the end.
Oh
of
yeah.
this.
Making yourself
Right?
accountable.
Like, hey, Brand, do you remember 10 years ago? Where is it? Yeah, I've been saying it a long, long time, but like books take way longer than you think. But I have a neighbor who is actually married to the woman who is being published by Random House, who was just on Tasha Hilderman. Her husband self-published, and they're my neighbor, and they also run a business. So he's like big business management, and he wrote this Amazon book through KDP. He took a course, was in mastermind groups, were like not like but like support groups for writers and stuff like that, and they really encourage each other. And he one day gave me a whole bunch of tips, but he wrote this book called Clone Yourself, and it's like, obviously it kind of speaks for itself, but like managing people who will have that same vigor and
oh, that's great
I
idea
haven't
for a
read
book.
it, but I feel like I should.
Yeah.
And it's a bestseller on Amazon, and it's so funny. When I first heard that, I was like, so like just my neighbor, he wrote a book, huh? And it's doing quite well. Cool. Good for him. And then like I was like, why that? And I was like, I could do that. Maybe. Yeah, I could. And the more you write, like it's funny because when I did that conference in front of all the women, and it was the most out of body experience I've ever had. They actually sat me down, or I've talked about this a lot, but they called me or emailed me, and I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I don't public speak. I don't. Not happening. That sounds like the worst thing anyone could do to themselves. I'm not an inspirational speaker or a public speaker. I just don't do that. And they're like, meet us for coffee, okay? Like, okay, I really like you, so I will. And I like going for coffee. So sure, no one ever asked me for coffee, so I'd love to. And they were so nice. And I was like, I don't think I'd have anything to say. What would I talk about? And they're like, we think you do. Just think about it. So anyways, long story short, it happened, and it was insane. And look what it's led to. Like, just because I said yes to something totally out of my comfort zone, like I'm saying, way. And that was before like we appeared on stories or anything. Like even my podcast has come such a long way. Like I couldn't string together sentences, especially when like a camera is on your face. It puts that extra pressure. Is that my baby or your baby?
I think it's yours.
Great. Anyways, what am I talking about? Clearly, yeah. So, just because, you know, you think, yeah, it was just a great example of him. It's just, he wrote a book. Okay, cool. And then you're just like, I've been practicing writing a book. I write posts every day. Like, I pull something
Yeah.
out of the blue. And then Jen Sincero, like, you're a badass, Jen Sincero.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
always says, like, the little steps, the little bits every day add up to, you know. And someone just asked me on Instagram this morning, they're like, how are you writing a book? I was like, 15 minutes a day, 15 minutes. That's it. That's the magic. You just, like, especially with parenthood, you work
Yeah.
in those windows. And like, in Big Magic, when Elizabeth talks about, like, treat it like you're a lover, like your affair, and you're sneaking off in the staircase
Yeah.
to, you know, embrace your lover for 15 or 10 or 3 minutes. And that is your passion, and that is what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be, you know, just because I'm an artist doesn't mean I can't write or, you know, public speak or, you know. And you figure out what you like to do, especially you with your design background. Like, you were like, I can be this, and I can do something different, and look what it led to.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's very inspiring. You should write a book.
Thank you. I think I should. Yeah, I'm just gonna, I can hear, my mic picks up sounds that my human ears don't hear.
Well, if you need to get them.
That's always interesting. They always come in during the quiet time. Finn likes to mock me with, he'll find the chocolate chips and he'll mock me from the door, slowly eating them. I was in a very important meeting where I, like, shouldn't have kids around, and I was like trying to keep a straight face to the screen, and he was just like,
oh my goodness.
like, somebody's here right now. Yeah, he always makes a little appearance, but he's not here today. We'll see.
I think my daughter just got off the school bus. I can hear her voice downstairs now.
Okay, if that's not your baby, it's definitely mine. But I have so much more to ask you. I ruined it with my end rant because I'm so excited. I'm so excited to chat with you, and we obviously both are very busy outside of our creative life. That's like 10%. The rest is real life. And thank you for taking the time out of your very busy life. And I'm so excited to see your new collection, because your stuff, like, I wanted to talk about the embroidery too, because it comes off of the painting, and I just don't know how you take the time and effort to pull that off. It is so beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah,
I definitely need to go. That's him.
Okay.
For sure. He's mad. He's we got a lock on his room. One night at 2 a.m, the alarm went off. She's like, okay, yeah, we need to open the door, because yeah, maybe he'll get it. Sometimes he pulls so hard it opens. Okay, again, we'll have like a two, or one day I'll just pop into your mastermind group for fun and talk to all the lovely ladies. I don't know, is there any men in your group?
No. It's
okay,
all
lovely
women.
Ladies.
Yes, no, yeah. You should come. You can come to we meet on Thursdays and Sunday nights if you want to pop in.
That's commitment. Good for you.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like I said, it's not structured. It's just like, if you know, sometimes there's 2 people, sometimes there's 10. It's just
amazing. Yeah. Another lesson in find your tribe. Find the right people. True. Yeah. Okay, lovely to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
We were online friends, and now we're in person.
I know. I'm glad that we sealed the deal.
Okay. See you, Sarah.
All right, bye, Brandy.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you picked up on a little of that magic and weird coincidences. But you can go check out our portrait class that we did at brandyhofer.ca in the Learn category. And it's on there. It's you can either pay $159 or split it into 3-month installments. And then it's just not so much at all, and totally worth it. and you can take it at your own pace, and the paint spot will help with your materials list. Yeah, it's so nice. And I'm sure you love Kristen just as much as I do. So thank you so much for her. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Kristen, for joining me. And I wonder why my audiobook went so poorly. It didn't go poorly, but when we recorded it, I was like, this is so fucking hard. I can't breathe wrong. And you know me, I love organic, just straight up weird talk. So thanks for putting up with me, friends. I love you so much, and we'll chat soon.